Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another Fool's Gold review, and this time I'm going to be covering issue 61 of Justice League by Brian Michael Bendis. As you can see on the left hand side there, this is how I rate the system, and I also point out how much I think the cover is worth, how much I think the art is worth, and the story is worth. Of course, there's a total which goes towards the writer as well as the artist. And of course, we've got the currency conversion, which links to how much I actually paid in for the comic in Australian dollars. So as you can see, it's $4.99 in US dollars, which makes it $8.95 Australian. I'll just be rating the key Justice League story and not the backstory. So, time to get started. Starting off with the cover. Does this cover show us, the reader, something that actually happens within the story? Surprisingly, it really does. And I'd have to say that if Brian Michael Bendis' idea was actually behind this, when giving this to the cover artist, it was a good idea because it does actually show what is actually happening within the story. To which I gave the cover a rating of 7 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1.50. Now it's time to move into the internal art. Now, this is some of the art around the beginning of the story. I must admit, I'm really impressed with the art in this. And this is only the beginning. I'll now move to the middle. This is some of the art around the middle. And now I'll finally move on to the end. I must admit, this has been some great work for this issue. And as you can see, Black Adam in there too. Coming behind the character of Brutus. So, moving into the internal art rating, I also gave that 7 out of 10, to which I believe it's worth $1.50. Now, moving into the story now, this is where it actually gets a little bit different. And I feel like the story lost a lot of points in a lot of areas. Starting off with some of the key areas that I enjoy. Did this in any way cover time as to when this was taking place? No. Yet it would not hurt as to point out in the story as to when this is taking place. Like in actual time. Is it landing on a specific date to which they have landed in Naomi's homeworld? None of that at all. Yet it would not hurt the story. In fact, I think it would help the story more. The location. Well, we get no indication or any name of Naomi's homeworld in this. And again, it would not hurt to add it to the story. Points lost once again. And that's just for the first two things that I like to look out for. Then there's comic references. Were there any comic references? Zippo, none at all. In this, it really fell dramatically. And this is where I will still come back and recommend, if you want to read something great of Brian Michael Bendis's, go pick up some of his Jinx World titles. He's got some better Jinx World titles than what he does in DC mainstream stories. So I highly recommend picking up his Jinx World. So, moving into the cast. Now, we get someone new in the cast as well, which was really interesting. And you get to see that at the beginning of the story. Of course, we have Brutus, and he's talking about his previous attempts of going into the realm of Earth. We've got the character who is a female scientist of likes, to which she has developed a interdimensional multiverse type device, to which Brutus has been using to try to get into Earth and like look for certain things. But you also learn that Brutus is in some part, it feels like he wants to betray Zimbardo again back to Naomi. Again, that reference, like that comic reference, it would not have hurt the story. I think it would have helped the story. Then we finally catch up with Black Canary, who's arrived on Naomi's homeworld, and learns that her powers are strangely overpowered on this world of Naomi's homeworld. And if it's one thing you do learn about Naomi's homeworld, is that it's become very desolate. It's like they've taken the Justice League and put them into a Mad Max movie. It's the only way to put it. Then, of course, we've got Batman, and he makes a small, short appearance and helps Naomi out, and brings up something in reference to DuckTales. I don't know, maybe Bendis is wanting his job back at Marvel Comics, because it sounds like it, or maybe in Disney. Then, of course, we have Superman turn up, Green Arrow turn up, of course, Black Adam, as you saw in the earlier, Aquaman, who looks a little bit out of his element as to where he's gotten stuck, and finally, Hawkgirl. I'd have to say the strongest thing here that actually did sort of work was actually working some of the things out with the cast, but didn't really help out with the story racing. I'm afraid the answer to this is a very heavy no, to which I gave the story rating a 3 out of 10, to which I believe the story is worth at least 60 cents, giving a total of $3.60, $3 to the artist, and the 60 cents to the writer. Well, until then, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until then, let's keep it colourful. If you've now made it to the end of the video, have yourself an awesome day.